Spice can be used to effectively enhance your schoolwork. You do not need to be an English major to develop your writing and perfect your grades. In this video, I will go through a variety of typical Gen Ed course assignments. I will display how Spice can be used to improve your writing and hopefully your grades too. Before I get started, I would like to make a note about plagiarism. You will want to be careful not to just copy these phrases exactly. We don't want anyone to get in trouble for plagiarism. We provide all the source information for these phrases, so if you're in doubt about using a phrase too closely to the original, just open the information panel to see who the phrase has been attributed to. As you can see, some phrases have already been used a handful of times. Use this information to inform your decisions about phrase use, and continue to think of Spice as an idea generator. Most universities require some sort of history credit. You've signed up for World History this semester. Your professor assigned a research paper due at the end of the term that is worth 20% of your overall grade. Your topic is the Assyrian Empire. You have visited the library, pulled as many primary sources as possible, and outlined your paper. Now you need to start writing. As you punch out the words, you realize your writing needs a bit more eloquence to round out some of the raw facts of research. This is when you should turn to Spice. Since you're in history class, you can look up history. History has been divided into chronology, discipline, and narrative. The first two meanings will probably apply best to your topic. We may find some helpful phrases to develop the tone of your paper. Here, under chronology, we see several short phrases. A vignette of squalor, cemeteries of outlived doctrines, mosaic of misery. Okay, let's see what discipline has. Blunderous history, filmy curtain of ambiguities, and unvarnished history. Okay, so pulling from these phrases, you could write a pretty solid introduction covering the lack of primary sources for Assyrian history and how that is bound to affect our current view. Through the filmy curtain of sources, you have pasted together a mosaic of ambition, war, and squalor. Later in the paper, you could talk about the outlived doctrines that dictated the lifestyle and decisions of the average Assyrian. In conclusion, you could write about how a retelling of the Assyrian Empire cannot be unvarnished no matter how many primary sources are discovered, because every past event is informed by the customs and culture of today. This is just a peek into a few general Spice phrases and how they can enhance your research papers to help convey your tone and concept behind your writing. Let's try another subject. Perhaps you are taking a film studies course as an elective. You have been assigned a paper that compares Alfred Hitchcock's method of conveying suspense with any film of your choice that was released in the last, say, 10 years. You've watched the Hitchcock films, but are feeling like you are in over your head. Your opening sentence is something like, Hitchcock is the master of suspense unlike any other director, but you know you'll need more than that. The problem is, you don't really even know what an element of suspense is. Why don't you look up suspense just to see how it's been described by other people? A silence like a scream. Oh, right, you think. There are a lot of long silences and weird music in Hitchcock films. This one goes with silence too. The thunder of a feather falling on the floor. The wisdom that torments us by its late arrival. You can compare the timing of when the character and audience understand the full plot. Talk about how this affects the audience feelings of suspense. Something like that. So, just based off of the inspiration of these phrases, you've come up with two huge elements of suspense: the use of noise and the revelation of the plot. You just need to pick a comparison film and elaborate on these points with lots of examples. In your post-colonial literature elective, you need to write an analysis of Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children. You want to write about the effects of revolution on the first generation in liberated India. To get started, why not look up revolution? Okay, revolution has several meanings. For progression, we have the phrase, the train of history had changed its direction. That idea could be used in this paper. Let's look at the next meaning. Brutalities of progress. Drums of liberation. I'll check out this phrase's source information to see if I can find any more leads. By the way, to do this, just tap the phrase and click on the information button. I can see it has been used several times. These related keywords might help. Pollution, poverty, and progress. I'll try progress. Okay, so you have a few phrases presenting various ideas now. You could write about how the children's lives had changed direction to match the beat of the drum o' liberation. You could weigh the positives and negatives of post-colonial life, discussing the brutality of progress and the incessant torrent of reality, pushing their lives ever forward. If you look up colonialism, you could discuss the old administrative buildings in imperial decay. For this assignment, Spice really serves to present the language of revolution and colonial history. You could use the phraseology to help convey your arguments more clearly. If you are an art student, you are likely to have to write a paper about an art style in some class, like art history. Let's say you are assigned a paper on modernism. For starters, you could look up modern art to see what others have written and to learn the language behind the movement. Hand-painted hallucinations. Nothing like modern art for sterilizing the life out of things. I wonder who said that. Huxley. Okay, so this is important because he's clearly talking about modern art here. Not all of our phrases are this pointed. You may want to quote him directly in your paper. So here you're given two concepts, hallucination and sterilization. To view other concepts, let's look up art and review the phrases under its meaning, creative product. A window and a mirror to humanity. All art is a kind of confession. You could begin your paper with the idea that art is considered to be a window to humanity. If this is true, and modern art is considered to be a sterilization of life, what does that say about modern mankind? That seems like a great place to start a paper. Suppose you were taking Drawing 101 as an elective. You are not an art major, but wanted to take a creative elective. Your semester project is to create a series of drawings that reflect the theme of memory. Now, memory is a pretty vague concept for a tangible drawing. I say you turn to Spice for some ideas. Memory has been divided into 7 categories and meanings: amnesia, bad memories, faint memories, flashbacks, good memories, the retelling of memories, and storehouse, like a catalog or database. You could pick one of these categories to narrow your theme. Let's just look at amnesia. Detached recollections of a thing met by chance, like a banknote in a gutter. His old age was not a rushing torrent, but a bottomless cistern where his memories drained away. My memory was a bare room without furniture or decoration. There are 3 drawings reflecting amnesia for you: a dollar bill caught in a gutter, a bottomless well, and an empty room. See how easy it is to be inspired using Spice? Let's say you're taking a 1-hour leisure skills course in running. As your final exam, your teacher assigns a 1-page paper answering the question, why is running enjoyable? Using Spice, let's look up run. A steady, yard-eating trot. You could write about getting into a zone to clear your head when you're running. A straight, pure celebration of speed. You could talk about enjoying the speed of the run reflected in the wind, sweat, and muscle motion. His footfalls send up fine flowers of water, each hanging a second behind his flight. Okay, so this is a bit flowery, but you could write about the beauty of nature seen during a good run, whether in rain or sunshine. Let's say you're taking a psychology class. Your assignment is to study the relationship between humans and animals. You decide to argue that the man-dog relationship is not one of unmerited affection. You understand that you have a lot of preconceptions to overcome. To get these out of the way, you want to list a bunch of them. If you look up dog in Spice, you will find several phrases that reflect these concepts of blind loyalty and friendship. Let's take a look at a few. Okay, here we go. Dumb devotion. Those undemanding but faithful friends. You could just write a sentence something like, dogs have been known for their dumb devotion. They have been called our faithful friends, even man's best friend. In this paper, and off you go, presenting your argument for why the devotion of a dog is not necessarily unearned. Hopefully, this video revealed some helpful uses for Spice. To discover if Spice works for you, sign up for a free trial today. Just click subscribe at the top right of our website.